Morning, everyone. Good morning. So I'm JB King. I'm running for House District 10. It's the first time somebody's run for that spot since 2002. The incumbent's been in place for quite a while. It's been an interesting race. I just want to share with everybody the good news. You know, as I get out now more in my district, as I knock on doors, as I talk to people, the so-called persuadables that we're targeting right now, the more people I talk to and I bring that message. You know, you haven't had anyone to vote for since 2002. Everybody's eyes get open. We started talking about democracy. I had a wonderful conversation with a police officer yesterday in his home, and he was telling me about how, well, you know, we're not really a democracy. We're a republic. And I said, well, we're a representative republic. We're supposed to be a representative republic, but we don't quite have that yet either. And he agreed. The more I talk to people, the more I understand they have a thirst for change. They want to see Alabama become more representative of what Alabama is. They understand that what we've seen in Montgomery hasn't, by and large, been representative of what the majority of this state is. And that's on both sides. So I just want to bring the good news. More people I talk to, the more good news I hear. More people are interested in getting out to vote in November 6th in 2018. The more people want to see change, the more people believe in this blue wave that we have going on. I'm happy, I'm excited. You know, I don't feel like the blue dot in a big red state anymore. I feel like we got a whole lot more blue out there. We got a whole lot more energy, got a whole lot more excitement. There's groups like this, gatherings like this, where we have opportunities to give new candidates like me a chance to stand up and talk to people. It's helping us all out. I appreciate it all. I appreciate every opportunity. Keep doing what you're doing. Go out and talk to your neighbors. You might be surprised at how many people are excited. So stay excited, stay energized, keep going. I'm JB King. I'm running for House District 10.
Good morning, I'm Michael H. Walker. I'm a family man, a man of faith. I'm a dedicated, loyal public servant. I'm a lawyer, and I am your next probate judge in Madison County, and I approve that message. Good morning. Now, this I am Michael H. Walker, running for Madison County probate judge. Probate judge is one of the strange judgeships in the state of Alabama where you can actually serve as a judge without being a lawyer. So now is the time to change that, bring about a new beginning, to start putting a lawyer in office of probate judge. I want to bring some credibility and legitimacy to the office of probate judge. Also, I want to bring public awareness to our mental health issue. We have a great mental health crisis in Madison County and across the state of Alabama, and the state has taken over $40 million from the mental health budget over the past 10 years. We need to work on that to get that money back into our mental health budget. We need to not so much fund mental health, but let's invest in mental health. I think we invest in it, we can see that we can reduce crime, we can reduce our costs, our prison systems, by getting people the mental health treatment they need on the front end. So the probate judge, I think we need a probate judge who's going to be proactive to see about trying to bring awareness to our mental health issues. So that's one of my primary goals as our probate judge. So I hope you remember on November the 6th, vote for Michael H. Walker, Madison County probate judge. Thank you. Have a blessed day.
Hello, my name is Terry Jones. I'm running for District 21, and I think what I want to tell you about is basically an experience I had. I've spoken to several people about canvassing, and we were looking to persuadables, and I ran into one that was not going to be persuaded. And so we started out, and I handed my card, and he's looking at it, and he says, "Are you Republican or Democrat?" And I said, "Democrat." And he throws his card back at me, and I said, "Okay, here we are." And he said, "You damn Democrats, you gave away the Panama Canal." And I'm thinking, that was 40 years ago. I'm surprised that you're still upset. And I said, well, look, education is my main issue. That's what there are a lot of things, but I'm a retired educator, and I'm running on the education. Well, I homeschool my kids. He said, and I can tell you right now, my kids are smarter than me. And I said, well, I can see that. So, he did not get that, by the way. Right over I was trying to get away and be as nice as I could, but you know, it was tough. But it did give me a story to tell, and I appreciated him for that. But other than that, he was not going to be persuaded. But I am running for District 21. We had a close race in March. We lost by just under 300 votes, and we are reaching persuadables. I have had some that, yeah, I'll vote for you, put a sign in my yard. So I have had the good experiences, but I thought I would let you know about the other side too. There's still some strong guys. Now this guy, I don't know if he'll ever vote. He has 3 kids who are obviously smarter than him, and maybe they're smart enough to know to vote Democrat. So, but I'm Terry Jones, running for District 21, and the excitement that we're feeling out on the trail is palpable. I mean, you can just feel it, and that's because of you. It's because of the good candidates, and I'm really looking forward to November. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Clardy. I'm running for sheriff here in Madison County. For the ones that don't know me, just quick, I'm retired from the Huntsville Police Department after 32 years. I have a son that's a sergeant, a nephew that's in an investigative field. I'm running for sheriff for the main reason is the people that don't live out in the county, that does not have any connections with the sheriff's department, don't really know what's going on. I personally didn't realize it until I moved out in the county 13 years ago. There's a lot of, I don't know, it's just the way the people, it's a lack of training is what it is. When I was at the Huntsville Police Department, if a rude complaint come in, they would address it immediately. We have so many rude deputies, and then you got a federal investigation going on. We got sexual harassment within the department going on. And the only way they're addressing that is they're trying to get it to be thrown out because of the depositions. Not saying that nothing ever happened, they're just saying the depositions are too long. When I said there's a lot of rude deputies and everything, we got some of the best deputies in the state of Alabama and beyond. But the only ones you hear about and see is the rude ones because they overshadow the good ones. My opponent is a former deputy. He's a good man. I won't sit here and tell you anything about him. He's a good friend of mine. But he used to be a deputy sheriff, and he's friends with the ones that are causing the problems. He actually was, prior to this election, he was going to run Democrat because we talked about it several times, and I told him, if you're going to run, I will run against you in the primary. Well, at the last minute, he decided to get on what they're calling the winning team, and he jumped over to the Republican side, and now that's where he's at and everything. But if you don't live in the county, Google the Sheriff's Department, mainly through the news media, because they're going to have the good things on their site. But look up the Madison County Sheriff's Department on the news side, and you'll see everything that's going on. It's in bad shape. And unless we get somebody in there that's not connected directly or indirectly, it's not going to change. You're going to change the name, but the thing's going to be the same. So, but I appreciate y'all keep me in mind and consider me on. Oh, one more thing. My opponent did say on the news radio that he wants everybody to get out and vote for him on November the 8th. So I hope that happens. Y'all vote for me on November the 6th.
Good morning, everyone. This is the first time I've got to stand at this podium and say to you, good morning. I'm Deborah Barros, and I am your Democratic candidate for Alabama State Senate District 7. So, thank you. And I want to thank, there's so much support here in this room. Thank you. Most of you have heard me speak, and you've heard me talk about issues on my platform. Today, what I'm going to say to you that I've been really out there doing as I'm meeting people is educating them on voting. You know, I went through some things June 5th, but the Lord brought me back strong July 17th. And I am happy that I won, but I was disappointed that out of 93,000 active Democrats in my district, approximately 1,300 voted. So I'm glad I won, But you know what? That's not okay. So my goal is to work with other candidates, which most of the ones that are here. I am so happy that we have finally, across this state, gotten on the same page and remembered the Democratic message. And that's how we're going to get people out. We're not going to be like the other side saying I'm conservative, evangelical, and I love Trump, and they want to take away my Second Amendment. We're talking issues. And the people need to hear the issues. So I hope that you will join the rest of us in helping us to get those issues out. And I thank you for your support. I need more support. You can help me 2 ways. Donations, we're broke. Y'all know Democrats are broke. And tomorrow at 5 at the Democratic headquarters, I'm having what I'm calling a strategic war planning. I'm still going to run a clean, crisp, progressive, and aggressive race. But I'm going old school. We're going back to the day where we're going to bring these people out. And so I've asked some of the candidates to come in. I have advisors coming in. And I got a job for what anybody that can do. We're going old school. So come at 5 o'clock to the Democratic headquarters. And, oh my goodness. And join my team and let's get her done. Because the former state senator, I haven't seen him at a town hall or anything. He was either at his barbecue restaurant, which he shut down, or as somebody said, he gone fishing. So now we need true representation, and I'm asking you to spread the word about tomorrow and to spread the word about Deborah Barros, and you can go on my website, votedeborahbarros.com, and find out what you need to find out about me, just in case you don't know. Thank you.
Well, I believe in grassroots just like Deborah, and my name is Walker McGinnis, and I'm in a bipartisan race for school board. I'm running for re-election. I'm currently the vice president of the school board, and the 28th, Tuesday the 28th is our election, and I hope if you don't live in District 4, I hope you have friends in District 4 and you'll support me. I'm very proud to be associated with this group because, to be honest, there's several in this room that actively help me campaign. I mean, actively. We go the old school, door to door, knock on the door, listen to a myriad of things if we can get people to come to the door. But we make the effort to reach everybody we can in our district and give them a chance to meet me or meet one of the people that help me and talk about the issues. We have a few issues to deal with. What I can bring to the table is 36 years of being an educator, anywhere from a teacher to a coach to assistant principal, speaker on special ed issues, la-da-da-da-da. I bring that to the table, and I've a wealth of experience dealing with government and trying to get projects done of equal importance to the city and to the Huntsville City Schools. I really appreciate your help, and my name is Walker McGinnis, and running for seat 4 on the Huntsville Board of Education. Thank you.
Thank you all for your introductions and your messages. At this time, we'll have Ms. Pam Miles come up and introduce our guest speaker for the morning. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. What a wonderful day to be a Democrat. We have got the most excellent slate of candidates that I have seen in a really, really long time. And this morning, I would like to introduce you to our next justice, our Justice of the Supreme Court, our Chief Justice of the Supreme Court of Alabama, Judge Bob Vance.
Good morning. Good morning. I'm delighted to be here this morning. It's early on a Saturday morning, and I am very impressed by the turnout we get. I've been very impressed with all the energy and enthusiasm I've seen up here in the Huntsville area. We've been up here for 3 days now, So we've had a nice extended visit. We've gone several places, met with many groups, and the enthusiasm and the energy that I feel, the commitment from the candidates and from groups like y'all, it's just so incredible. And as a candidate myself, I feed off of that. When y'all are pumped up and energized, that gets the candidates pumped up and energized too. So thank you. Thank you for taking the time and effort. I know that y'all are working hard for your candidates up here. It'll take a lot of hard work, but you know how it's done. So again, that's just to say I've been most impressed by what I've seen up here in Madison County over the last 2 or 3 days. I anticipate getting up here quite a bit. Madison County is very important to my campaign. I ran for Chief Justice 6 years ago, and I'll talk about that a little bit more in a minute. But we carried Madison County 6 years ago, and we need to do that again. But I am confident with good folks like y'all in my corner that we have a terrific opportunity here come November 6th. I want to take this opportunity this morning to introduce myself to those of you who don't know me. By now, many of you do, and I've got a chance to make many friends here. But I am Bob Vance. I have been a circuit judge down in Jefferson County for the past 16 years now. So I know the responsibilities and the challenges that our courts have. Before I get any further, I do want to touch on the issue that I'm sure is foremost in your minds, and that is, of course, I am the husband of Joyce Vance, a noted media celebrity. She is, for those of you who don't know, she was the United States Attorney in President Obama's administration. So she was the chief federal law enforcement official here in the northern part of Alabama during the Obama administration. She retired at the end of that administration. Her day job is to be a professor of law at University of Alabama. But she's also developed, almost by happenstance, she kind of fell into this. She provides commentary work on MSNBC. And she does a terrific job of explaining what's going on with the investigation, the special counsel's investigation in Washington and everything that's going on up there. She's able to boil it down so that we can understand it, because it's complicated criminal procedure stuff. But they seem to like what she's doing. She's on at least once a day, it seems like every day now. I have been repeatedly asked, when are you going to bring her up here? So, I never even see her these days. She's so busy. But she does provide a valuable service to our community in explaining what's going on. And I'm very proud of what she's been able to do. So I'll try to get her up here next time. I can't make any promises though. But in any event, as I said before, I've been a judge for a number of years, and I really have enjoyed my tenure as a circuit judge in Jefferson County. It has been a very rewarding experience for me. I really think I make a difference in that role. Now, 6 years ago, though, I ran for Chief Justice. That was an unusual race, and you may not remember all the details, but I got into that race late. In fact, I got into the race about this time, 6 years ago. It was late August. I was the replacement nominee. The prior nominee was removed by the state party, and I agreed to step in if there were a vacancy. And the opponent, of course, was Judge Roy Moore. So there I am in late August with the prospect of running against Roy Moore, who at that time we didn't know everything about Roy Moore we now know, facing a challenge of an 80-day statewide campaign. So I knew the odds were long, but I thought it was a fight worth fighting. As a judge, I take very seriously certain fundamental principles. And I talked about this a little bit last night at Pam's house. I've presided over a number of jury trials. At the end of every jury trial, I give instructions of law to the jury. One of those standard instructions is use your common sense to make your decision, to render your verdict. Look only at the facts before you and the law that I'm giving you. Don't let prejudice, emotion, or bias influence your decision. That instruction for a jury, to me, is a pretty good standard for a judge to follow. And I saw Roy Moore, and he was the opposite of what I thought a judge must be. We saw someone who was so wrapped up in divisive politics, politics of prejudice, of bias, of emotion, trying to make personal gain by using such divisive politics. Now, I guess we're in an age where politics is filled with intolerance and hatred and bigotry. And it's so, I don't want to say we've gotten used to it, because we haven't. We're still tired of it. But, thank you. But it seems to be everywhere, in Washington, in Montgomery. It's all around us. But the position of Chief Justice has to be gauged by a different standard, I think, from the other political positions in Montgomery. And this involves the roles and responsibilities of the Chief Justice. Chief Justice is one of 9. In fact, the head of our state Supreme Court. And as you know, the state Supreme Court is the highest court in our judicial system, hearing appeals from all the courts in our state. More importantly, the Chief Justice is the head of all the courts in the state of Alabama. He's the administrative head of the court system. He heads up the 3rd branch of government. Now, we may be used to the politics of hatred and fear and divisiveness, but our courts stand apart from that. They must stand apart from that. Our courts must remain a place where fundamental fairness and justice still rule the day. Regardless of who you are, what your background is, whether you're wealthy or dirt poor, if you go into a courtroom anywhere in Alabama, you should be afforded that same opportunity to be heard, to get a fair shake, to have a judge or jury decide your matter based only on law and facts. Politics has simply no place in our court system. The Chief Justice must be the embodiment of that spirit. The Chief Justice must stand for everyone. That's why it was so offensive to me to see anyone seeking to be Chief Justice seek to divide us, to pit one group against another, to demonize one group or another. That's not what the Chief Justice should be about. The Chief Justice has to be for all of us, because our courts are there for all of us. So that's why I decided to run against Roy Moore in 2012. And there's one other reason, a very personal reason. Some of you know about my father. Some of you knew my father. He was, in his younger days, he was the chair of the Alabama State Democratic Party. And then President Carter appointed him to be a federal judge in 1977. And he served as a federal judge until his death. Now, when he was a judge, I was a young man. In fact, I was a teenager when he was first appointed by President Carter. And one thing about that one conversation I had with him really stuck with me through all these years. Every now and then, the federal courts would be called upon to review death penalty decisions from the state courts. And my father was involved in those reviews of death penalty cases a number of times. He hated those cases. He would stay up late at night fretting about them. He was personally opposed to the death penalty. His religious convictions were such that he did not personally believe in death penalty as a proper punishment. However, when called upon to act as a judge, personal beliefs have no role. And he talked with me about that. And he told me, to be a good judge, oftentimes you're called upon to put aside your personal beliefs. Sometimes the law tells you to do something and your heart wants you to go another way. And in that difficult situation, if you're doing your job, if you're following your oath as a judge, you have to go with what the law commands you to do. That really stuck with me. And again, when I see people like Roy Moore want to twist the law, distort it, because of whatever his personal beliefs might be, to me that's just an affront on what our system of justice should be about. So that's why I ran in 2012. I knew it was a long shot. We worked hard, and come election day, we did not win, but we darn sure gave it a close race. We got a little over 48% of the vote. For an 80-day campaign, that's pretty good, I thought. So I was heartened by that. And it suggested to me that maybe people in Alabama want something different than the politics of divisiveness and of hate that we're seeing. We're not going to have change overnight. Change comes slowly here in Alabama. But maybe we're starting to turn that corner so that folks just want people in office, especially judges, who just quietly and professionally go about the business of serving you as judges. Now, 2018, and I'm running for Chief Justice again. The good news is I'm not running against Roy Moore this time. Roy is off the stage. However, I am running this time against Roy's closest ally.